We're back with more Nerd Radio.
Roger me, will call me anything. Hello, Earth.
And now, back to the nerds.
Follow us on social media at NerdRadio 101. And of course, download the podcast every Friday morning, wherever you're getting your podcast as part of the BPod Studios network. My name is Chuck B, and joined by James and Al Beck, talking about all things nerd every week here on Nerd Radio. And let's get right into the wrestling talk.
Wrestling.
Holy moly, what a week it's been.
Yeah.
As far as professional wrestling goes. Last Wednesday night, AEW Dynamite really moved the needle when Sting showed up.
Really?
Yes. During it's a 2-hour show, like most wrestling, good wrestling shows are. And during the first hour main event, Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin were getting beat down by Taz's guys. And then the arena went dark, and you saw the video on the screen with the crow on it. And so the fake snow started coming down in the snow, and then Sting showed up with the baseball bat and saved him. Dude's in his 60s.
I was just going to say, how old is that guy now?
Dude's in his 60s. And he said earlier this year that he was kind of holding out for hopefully a match with The Undertaker, even though they're both pretty much past their prime. And now that The Undertaker's had his final goodbye at Survivor Series, apparently he decided it's time to jump ship.
So is that what finally made him pull the trigger to get back on
That's
TV?
my guess.
Okay.
Is that he was kind of, because he's been under WWE contract for a while so that they could license, Sting t-shirts and masks. And he was at WrestleMania a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had that match with Seth Rollins where he almost got crippled. So he hasn't been in the ring since then. But yeah, I really feel like, okay, if I'm not going to get my Undertaker match, then I might as well go over here and do my thing.
So do you think Sting's going to get in the ring and actually take bumps and stuff?
If you look on AEW's website, he does have a record, like all the AEW wrestlers, of 0-0 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that implies that he is going
to see some action
get in the ring.
I'm worried about these old guys, these old timers, lacing up their boots and getting back in the ring.
Yeah.
I don't know if it really does their legacy any service. I also don't know if it's worth them putting their bodies on the line to risk like permanent injury at that age. Is it a money thing? Like, what is the drive? Is it just they miss getting their ass beat for cash so badly that they want to come back? Do they just miss that adrenaline rush that you get when the crowd goes wild, when the music hits? Like, I don't get it. Just from watching Goldberg and watching that Undertaker match, I'm like, oh no, stop. Watching Triple H and Shawn Michaels, I know I'm going to a different league that a lot of people are a little more anti against, but like watching these old timers get back in the ring and wrestle, to me it's not as exciting. It's more sad.
Yeah.
It's more sad than it is exciting. It's very cool to hear Sting was back, but I don't know that I want to. I'm not tuning into AEW to watch a man Sting possibly die.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
It's cool for a cameo.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
And
if you're watching a Raw and all of a sudden you hear that glass break.
Yeah. And it's not Robbie Landis walking in.
Well, you get super excited or whatever.
Hell
Stone Cold shows up, but you don't need to see him. I mean, honestly, even when he was in his prime, he was more exciting when he just showed up anyway.
Yeah.
Always wrestling.
Yeah.
He's just going to come in and Stone Cold Stunner.
Give somebody a Stone Cold Stunner. Yeah, and that's we talked a couple weeks ago about The Undertaker, how he could still show up and chokeslam people and be creepy and not have to take bumps. And I feel like Sting's in the same vein. Like he could show up and blast somebody in the face with a baseball bat, and
he won't have to put himself in jeopardy as much.
Exactly.
And plus, he's such not an old timer, but he's such a legend, and he's so respected within the wrestling community. Everybody's going to do whatever they can to kind of take care of him. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you're gonna see guys definitely dealing with him with kid gloves
and Hall Gaming in the Twitch chat here is saying he believes he was done wrong by WWE and he wants to go out better, which I guess I understand that too.
Yeah,
but like, so who's the epic wrestler in AEW that he's gonna have this epic finish with?
Well, he's probably gonna fight Cody because everybody does, because Cody is pretty much the Triple H of AEW, and he had a moment with Darby Allin. Darby Allin wears like half the skull face paint, and he's the skateboarder guy that falls off high stuff. He had a moment with Darby Allin that felt a lot like when Hulk Hogan and The Rock first met in the ring, and they were like looking to the side and letting the crowd cheer for him. Like they kind of looked at each other, and Sting kind of did one of these.
Like sizing him up.
Yeah. So I think that would be a really fun match to see. And also AEW at the end of the night having Jon Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose, versus Kenny Omega, and Kenny Omega winning the title and then running off to Impact Wrestling this week.
Which is wild because Impact Wrestling has never been on my radar whatsoever.
Yeah.
Other than checking out like some of Rob Van Dam stuff because he's got some big booty hoes that he parades around with. So I'll tune in for some of that stuff.
Yep.
But I watched I can't say I watched the entire Impact Wrestling because I fell asleep before Kenny Omega actually made the appearance.
Yep.
But I was watching on my laptop on Twitch, and then finally I realized I could get it on Access.
Yep.
So then I went upstairs, and my fiance and I put it on the TV, and I watched Impact Wrestling until I fell asleep. First time. So they got somebody who's pretty much just been WWE is my bread and butter when it comes to wrestling.
Right.
I don't want to claim to be a diehard fan, but that's just really all I've grown up on. That's all I've really watched. I know there's other stuff out there, but this is what I watch is WWE.
Right.
So to get me to turn the channel, which we watch NXT Wednesday nights, we barely watch AEW unless NXT's not on, to watch such a smaller independent wrestling promotion. That's incredible. So hats off to AEW for making that happen.
Yeah, it absolutely worked. And it's earlier in the year, they had some NWA wrestlers, the Billy Corgan's, the one that he's financing.
Oh,
that
wow,
was just a
league's
YouTube.
Still around. Wow.
That was just doing their shows on YouTube. They had some of their NWA wrestlers show up after COVID hit and they couldn't film NWA shows. And now you see that they're working with Impact Wrestling to put together this storyline. It's really interesting and fun.
So do you think all these other lesser known wrestling organizations are trying to we can't beat him. We have WWE, Vince McMahon. We all have this common enemy. Can we all combine, join forces together and do battle with him? What is it the saying? My enemy's enemies, whatever.
Yeah.
You know my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I think there's a little bit of that. I think also that they understand, before WWE there was the territory system where you would hang out in the Florida territory, and then after a couple months you would move up north and just
do
something over there kind of thing. And I think they're trying to bring about something very similar to that. And the fact that if you've got all these smaller guys that can't compete with the big guy anyways, then why don't we play nice with each other?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we share talent? Why don't we try and prop each other up? Like you're saying, you've got more people watching AEW on a weekly basis than you do watching Impact. If we can give them a little bit of publicity and move people over there, then everybody wins because wrestling fans are excited again and they want to see stuff. And WWE has not done a great job this year of keeping wrestling fans excited.
No, because it's the same match every night. It's the same people facing it off at the same ring, doing the same stuff.
Right.
It's getting boring. I understand why people are leaving WWE and not liking it because I'm bored at watching the show most of the time too.
Yeah.
So.
You guys maybe have not seen this information, but have you seen rating numbers? Do you know if WWE is starting to suffer? Not necessarily suffer, but is it on a decline? Do you think?
Everybody took a pretty big hit when COVID happened. I will say this, because WWE has put their NXT show on Wednesdays. As soon as they found out AEW is going to be on Wednesdays, they're like, well, then NXT is going to be on Wednesdays on USA instead of just being on our network thing.
Yeah, that was this time last year. It was after Survivor Series, because I was upset that they just took NXT, all the NXT members, pretty much. NXT ran the house. They won all the matches in Survivor Series, and I said they did that so that the people who are watching, they're like, oh my gosh, these NXT wrestlers are beating WWE wrestlers, and there's an NXT show on Wednesday nights.
Right.
I'm going to watch this because this is it's another WWE level wrestling show going up against AEW. So it put anybody who's on NXT, they put them over. And I don't know where I'm going with this argument. this statement.
You were upset that the NXT wrestlers had beaten all the WWE wrestlers at the time.
I'm just curious because all of my exposure to wrestling is from talking to you guys, so it's not like the sampling is large, but I've heard nothing but complaints about WWE. But whenever AEW comes up, people are excited about it and they enjoy it.
I think the people, for the longest time, it's been the possibility of something new happening and something cool happening. This was the first week where something huge happened,
and that is incredible. I don't know much about Kenny Omega.
Yeah,
but from watching him in AEW, I was like, why is everybody so all on board with Kenny Omega? Because he seems kind of, to me, lame. No offense to anybody.
He has not been impressive in AEW, but he has put on matches that the internet wrestling community. There's a guy called Dave Meltzer that does the
Wrestling Observer.
Wrestling Observer. Typically, he gives a 1 to 5 stars on a match when he reviews them. Kenny Omega for the longest time was the only person who had 5-star matches. He'd never give anybody a 5-star match. Eventually, I think he gave AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura in New Japan Pro Wrestling a 5-star match, and then gave Kenny Omega with somebody else 6 stars.
Wow.
So Kenny Omega is kind of recognized by the internet wrestling community as one of the greatest wrestlers of this generation.
I gotcha. Because when I see him, I'm like, I'm not impressed with.
Yeah, but we
Mr.
haven't really seen it in AEW. Haven't really. Last week against John Moxley was probably the best Kenny Omega match we've gotten to see.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I don't even call him by his real name in my house. I'm like Jimmy Omega, that Jimmy Omega guy.
Right.
Benny Omega.
But the also thing that's very exciting for internet wrestling community fans is that the Bullet Club was a thing a couple of years ago, and it was originally started by Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and if I'm remembering correctly, Finn Balor.
Let's say, is it Finn or AJ Styles?
It was Finn Balor, and then eventually it turned into like the NWO of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and AJ Styles was a part of it, Kenny Omega was a part of it, the Young Bucks were a part of it, all these superstars were a part of it. Well, now, if Impact and AEW are playing nicely, Gallows and Anderson are in Impact.
Yes, because I saw a lot of people in the chat last night on the Twitch saying like, the Good Brothers are going to do a Bullet Club reunion. I'm like, I don't even know who the Good Brothers are.
Yeah.
And then eventually it clicked, and somebody had said something. One of the announcers or whatever had mentioned who the Good Brothers were or whatever. I was like, I didn't realize that was Luke Gallows.
It's kind of like when the Dudley Boys went to Impact and they couldn't be the Dudley Boys anymore, so they had to call themselves Team 3D.
Okay.
Like, WWE owns the rights to this particular, but New Japan owns the rights to Bullet Club, which is why they've gone by the Elite in AEW.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, people are just chomping at the bit for the Bullet Club to be a thing again.
And I mean, that could be a good way that they go and take out, the giant, the Colossus WWE.
Yeah.
You give these diehard fans that little tidbit.
It's exciting to know that even you tuned into Impact last night.
Dude, I was like last night, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to see what's going on. I don't know what's happening other than Kenny Omega he won the title from Moxley in kind of an underhanded way, of a real heel way.
Yeah.
And then like the owner of Impact, who was, I guess, good friends with
Kenny Omega,
like rushed him out of the arena onto a bus to get the hell out of there. And he's like, tune in Tuesday night on Impact Wrestling. I'm like, son of a bitch. I don't know what's happening, but I'm interested. You have my attention. I want to see more.
Yep.
And I also think it's cool that Tony Khan, the owner of AEW, is pumping money into Impact because they bought
that. Yeah,
they say they bought like a
time.
long ad spot
right
on the show last night, but I mean, he even made a joke like he could just buy Impact Wrestling. So it's interesting to see that, I don't know, just
the interaction between the two. Is a lot of fun.
What's going to happen next is got my attention. We're watching NXT in our house.
Yep.
But I'm paying more attention to what's going on the internet.
Did you watch Wargames on Sunday? NXT Wargames?
And I was real bored.
You really?
Yeah. Like the first match,
the women's
Wargames match, I thought was fun, but I feel like Wargames, you got to get everybody in that ring quicker.
Yeah.
Having the 3 minutes in between the players entering the ring. I don't know, Al, if you're familiar with what Wargames is.
I was just going to say, I haven't even heard of this one.
Okay, so this was a WCW thing originally, but WWE bought WCW, so they own the rights to all their stuff. You take 2 wrestling rings and put them side by side.
Okay.
And then you put a cage around all of it.
Okay.
And you've got 2 teams of 4. You got a good guy team and a bad guy team. And you start with 2 people in the ring, and then every 3 minutes, 1 person from each team alternating comes into the ring. And once all 8 people are in the ring, now the match is on. Up until that point, you're just beating the crap out of each other, wearing each other down. So if the match starts, you're just looking for a pinfall or a submission between the 8 people. Just whoever gets the first pinfall or submission, your team wins.
Yeah, so to me, the War Games, it's too long. Find a way to get the match started quicker.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like, it's interesting at first to watch, and you see these things happen, and things go down. And then you're like, hey, the match has officially begun. And I'm like, damn, dude.
I've been watching this for 20 minutes.
I'm ready for the next match. I've seen enough. Like, so yeah, War Games, like, to me, it's kind of boring. And then I ended up falling asleep before, whatchamacallit. I missed the Dexter Lumis match, which Dexter Lumis, to me, is the creepiest, weirdest, newest, most exciting wrestler I've seen in a long time. The crazy mustache. He's got like that almost like Hitler Youth cut with the part, and like, but he crawls around like on his hands, and he gives you these like really creepy, like,
he's got this intense Nicolas Cage stare.
Yeah, like he is creepy. Like I think the first time we saw him was right before all the COVID stuff hit the fan, and NXT was here locally.
Yeah.
We saw it. And then so to see him come out and see him do his thing, I remember going to my fiance like, this guy is creepy as hell. I love it.
His theme song sounds like the Stranger Things
It
song.
does, yeah, exactly. So I missed that. I wanted to see that match.
Did you want to see it because of Dexter Loomis, or do you want to see it because of Cameron Grimes?
It ain't because of Cameron Grimes, the stinkiest man that's ever walked out of the NXT room to enter the ring when we were there.
He doesn't look very fit. He's kind of fuzzy. He's got a beard and he's got a stupid hat, and he's like his
Dude, what the hell?
It's Cowboy L shirtless.
Cowboy Al.
He's Cowboy L shirtless.
And yeah, that's the way he says his name. His name
This
is
is just-
Cameron Grimes.
I feel like this is just you trying to see if I was paying attention or not.
No,
You
he's
just-
a real character.
You just described me, and you're like, God, everyone hates him and he smells bad.
He's got a stupid hat.
I like my
antisocial.
MASH hat.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I had no stake in the game at the end. The final match, I didn't really care.
No?
It's, undisputed against
It's
whoever.
Pat McAfee and the other.
Pat McAfee
is-
guy to me is the clown. Like, get him out of here.
Right.
So
No, I thought it was both. I was kind of there for the War Games matches, so I kind of fast forwarded through the middle of the thing.
I gotcha.
I got there late, and then,
Like I said, I slept through it. So,
but it was cool to see Pat McAfee take a jump off the cage. He's a
he's the one that
celebrity.
took the big bump, huh?
Yeah, he
'Cause
didn't
there's
have
always
to.
somebody that takes like a big bump.
Oh yeah,
a real high risk maneuver.
yeah. So it's cool to see that he's such a big wrestling fan that he's like, yeah, teach me how to do a couple of these things and let me take a giant bump.
Is he a football player?
He used to be a football player. Now he
Okay.
does I think a podcast,
like a radio, like he
or
does a
radio
sports
DJ.
podcast
Yep.
or whatever. And now he's trying to get. I mean, to me, that shows he is committed to being a professional wrestler.
Yeah,
he loves it. And he wants
really
to do
likes
it.
professional wrestling. And
But my God, I don't
figured
know.
out that he's a good talker and he's a natural heel. So yeah, let's run with it. Let's have fun.
Well, I hope it all works out for him. But I feel like come up with a gimmick or something instead of the Pat McGee. I don't know. It's boring to me.
Well, they're moving the Thunderdome as of this Friday.
Oh, the Thunderdome's moving.
Yeah, they're moving it to
Bummer Dome.
They're moving it to the Tropicana Field, and some people have already gotten some pictures of it.
They're trying to get it to where they can get people live audience in there
I
because it's an
think so.
outdoor. It'll be an
Yeah.
outdoor arena. So they
I
can
think
probably,
they're trying to get it like with AEW is in an outdoor arena in Daly's place, so they can put people up in the stands in masks and socially distanced.
I got you.
And I think WWE is also trying to pull that off. Also, Becky Lynch had her baby.
Yes, that's true. Yes, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins had their baby.
The baby's name is Rue.
Rue.
Roux.
That's got to be an Irish thing.
I don't know. Seth Rollins is like kind of a nerd. Like I could see him just being like, "We're gonna call the kid Rue with an X. It's gonna be awesome."
That's funny. I didn't realize that, but I feel like if he's gonna go the nerd way, there'd be like a meaning or something behind it.
Yeah, no, he's got terrible taste.
Oh, well, you pick a good girl to knock
Yeah,
up.
just about everything except ladies. All right, I got two more things I want to talk to you guys about before we leave, and they're both concerning the PlayStation 5. I know I had said last week when we were talking about the rumor about that Silent Hills and Metal Gear game coming out that if that's true, we find that out this week.
Yeah.
Okay, PlayStation, I'm on board. PlayStation 5 is the
You're
system
gonna
I
be
gotta
pulling
have.
the PS5 heist.
PS5 is the one I'm gonna need. There's a retailer who's trying to fight PS5 scalpers over in South Korea called Game Worry.
Game Worry.
Yes, they have a banner that reads "Pre-order now" next to images of the PS5, and they have also put on their website that they will cancel your pre-order if they think that you are trying to flip it.
Well, how do they know if you're trying to flip it?
Well, if you're trying to order 3 or 4 of them, then yeah.
Well, maybe you're ordering 3 or 4 because you want to make sure you get your one.
Right. It's asking people to help.
I was going to buy you guys that for Christmas, but I guess I can't anymore.
Not,
Sorry.
you can't. No. They're asking people to help by reporting scalpers reselling
They're
their
generous.
pre-orders.
It's a thought that counts, right?
Yeah.
You had a good year, huh? Nice.
I thought about buying you a PS5. I'm not going to do it, but I thought
I
about
thought
it.
about it,
He
right?
didn't tell you about all the
exactly.
money he won on those scratchers he plays.
The excerpt from the message reads, "Our policy will be to cancel orders without question, even if it's fully paid for in advance if we discover that the person who ordered it is trying to resell it. Also, if you find an act of reselling, please promptly report it to each store location on their Instagram, DM, or forum."
Oh, that'd be crazy to try to sort through all that nonsense. I would just report friends that I know are trying to buy one just to F with them. Be like,
You're such a dick.
Al Beck already has 2.
Beck Radio on Instagram already has, dude, don't allow him to buy any more PS5s.
Oh my
That'd
God.
be such a dick if that was how it worked. I feel like Sony needs to step in and they need to find ways to where you link your PSN account to getting the new system.
Yeah.
And then they can keep track of who's got their accounts linked. And I guess if you're buying it for a gift, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
There's problems, man. They got problems. Make more PS5s, Sony.
Yeah, it's
Problem solved.
That's ultimately what it comes down to is make more PS5s. A guy in Utah ordered a PS5. Have you seen like the size of these things? Anyways, like they're about the size of your torso.
Really?
They're really kind of heavy.
Wow.
And the box is huge too. Anyways, a guy in Orem, Utah ordered a PS5 off of eBay because that's going to turn out fine. And when he got it, when it showed up on his doorstep, he saw the box. He was so excited. He picked it up. It was heavy. He opened the box, and it was a slab of concrete.
Oh, they sent him a brick.
Somebody sent him a slab of concrete instead of a PS5
This is insanity, man.
in a PlayStation 5 box. Guy paid $878 on eBay
You got hosed.
for his play. I'd at least spray paint PS5 on the concrete or something.
Instead of painted white.
See, I never get the new gen of systems right away because there's always bugs. But man,
Right.
I wouldn't buy it secondhand anyway, even if it was a legit sale. Like you pay the money, they send it to you. You're just rewarding these people. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
just eventually, Sony's gonna make enough of these things that everyone can have one if you want one. Just stop buying them secondhand. Make those people eat that money.
Yeah,
that are trying to F you. F them by not buying it.
Let them sit there with 12 PS5s, just earning
Yeah.
interest on that credit card.
But yeah, eventually they'll have to be like, all right, fine, I'll sell it for retail. And then if they can't sell it, then they'll be like, all right, fine, I'll sell it for $200. Oh my God, I need to recoup something.
Like I'm actually more on the side of people who are selling pictures of the PS5 on eBay than the people who are reselling an actual PS5. Because the people who are selling the pictures of the PS5, it's on the buyer's fault for not reading that it's just a picture of the PS5.
What's your eBay account? Because I'm never buying anything off of you. You're a huge jerk.
Well, just so you know, like eBay has caught on to the selling the pictures of consoles. So
I'm
they have
sure.
Put the kibosh on that.
Right.
So my get rich quick scheme went right down the pooper.
Xbox is out too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't heard
The Series X.
anything about that. Has that been pretty much on the up and up?
I mean, there's been some problems like there always is with the first, the first run of a new gen system. But I've also heard that a lot of people, mainly the Xbox that doesn't have the disc drive in it, I've heard people are very pleased with just downloading their games.
But is it like
Enjoying.
impossible to find? Is there a resale issue like we're having with the PS5 where people are scamming you?
I haven't read anything, but I'm almost positive.
Yeah, I'm
it's
sure
going
there's
on.
similar things going on, but I think the PS5 is more the system in demand.
Okay.
Like the Xbox isn't as in demand as with the PS5.
I was thinking about that
so.
today because every day on the morning show we're covering more of these PS5 scam stories, and I'm like, I haven't heard anything about the new Xbox in that same vein. And it's also, sometimes the news isn't here to inform; it's here to follow trends and make money. So maybe there was a lot of clicks on a story about a PS5 scam, so that's the only one that they follow up on. Maybe because that could be it too. Gotcha. But I was just curious if you guys had heard anything about that because it's been all crickets as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, even somebody in the Twitch chat here saying they can't find an Xbox anywhere. It's just as hard to get.
Were you doing that whole so you could play the crickets thing?
No, I said the word crickets and remembered I had
And
a
they were
cricket
like,
sound.
hey, I've got crickets.
So I kept trying to make sounds long enough for me to reach over and find it and go.
No, I just wanted one of those Xboxes like we talked about last week so I can play all my emulators on it. It's supposed to be super good at it. But that's all I've got for this week's Nerd Radio, you guys.
Cool.
So,
good.
I mean, unless you want to talk about some Transformers or something, because there's always new Transformers news to talk about.
Where did it go? Where'd it go?
No.
All right, that's fair. So make sure you're following us on social media at Nerd Radio 101. Make sure you check us out in the Checkpoint XP studios Wednesday afternoons around 11:30, and download, rate, and review the podcast wherever you're getting it. It's part of the B-Pod Studios network.
No way.
Thank you for
What is
using
this
more
garbage?
buttons than us tonight.
It's funny. He sits on those all show.
Yeah.
And as you're trying to wrap it up, he's telling people
Exactly.
not to do all these things we need them to do.
No way.
It was awkward for everyone.
Yes.
All right. Have a good one. Enjoy the Game Awards. If you haven't already watched them, enjoy this week of wrestling. Hopefully it'll be just as exciting as last week. And we will talk to you next week.
NerdRadio101.com. Go to it. I spent money for it.
sure Al gets his money's worth.
I'm in a difficult situation here. I mean, after all, you're nerds.
Have a great weekend.
See you later, nerds.
The future's stupid, guys. I'm sorry, but it is.
I have spoken.